Good evening. Welcome to News at 10 on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwa Asari. First, let's take a look at the news highlights for the day. Students in public colleges of education are disappointed in the government for failing to reach an agreement for their striking teachers to return to the classroom. The students have started packing home as the Minister of Education has announced closure of the colleges. 2 small-scale miners have been handed over to the police for falsifying the Environmental Protection Agency document. The miners are among 423 others who have been vetted by Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Residents of Oku in the central districts of the Ashanti region are threatening to boycott all political activities in the run-up to the 2020 elections if their roads are not fixed. The predominantly farming settlement has no access road and relies on the Catholic Church partially for essential road amenities. And fishing at Agodeke in the Ko-Afram Plains North districts of the Eastern region came to a standstill following shortage of premix fuel. Stanley Niblo reports fishermen queued for days without being served. On the international front, police and protesters have clashed in central Paris during a third weekend of yellow vest rallies sparked by rising fuel prices. Police fired tear gas, stun grenades and water cannon on the Champs-Élysées while masked protesters hurled projectiles at officers. Many thanks for joining us. Let's start from the presidency because President Akufo-Addo has said it is time to reverse the rising new trend of HIV infection among the youth in the country. The president has charged the Ghana AIDS Commission, the Ministry of Health and other stakeholders to work together to achieve target goals. This was contained in a speech read on his behalf in Ho to commemorate this year's World AIDS Day. Ghana is marking the day on the theme Test, Treat to Suppress and Stop New HIV Infections, alongside the global theme of Know Your Status. President Akufo-Addo asked the youth to adhere to the ABC of HIV, that is abstinence, being faithful, and condom use to contribute to reducing new infections. The president reiterated government's commitment to UNAIDS 1990 target and commended development partners for sustaining the fight against HIV, calling for more collaboration to defeat the disease. Two small-scale miners have been handed over to the police for falsifying the Environmental Protection Agency document. The miners are among 423 others who have been vetted by the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Selom Amenya has the following reports.
The Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining commenced the vetting of the small-scale miners on Monday, November 26. The committee was expecting to vet some 871 small-scale miners. However, others joined later, paying penalties, and this shot the number to 887. Secretary to the committee, Charles Cromwell Bisu, hinted 432 small-scale miners have been vetted after 5 days, with only 26 successfully completing the whole process.
If the ban is lifted today, then those are the 26 that will go out to work. But the rest, they've been asked to go and then normalize certain things, i.e. Pay their EPA permit or bring it up to date, or ensure that they have the TIN. Reforms that we're bringing in, like the insurance policy, register with the insurance company and all that. So these are the things that just shows that it's partially done. But it doesn't mean that the person has been disqualified or anything like that.
In the course of the vetting, 2 persons were handed over to the police for falsifying the EPA documents.
You sitting down and actually putting a receipt together that you've paid your EPA for your EPA permit to outwit the system means that there's the 2 elements of crime, which is the mental and the active one, which is mens rea and then actus reus. So we've actually handed them over to the police.
Charles Bisu advised the small-scale miners against fronting for foreigners, adding the Minerals Act 703 reserves small-scale mining for Ghanaians. He called on financial institutions to support the miners by providing mining support services.
I believe that the risk in investing in such a venture will be lucrative for the banks as well. So by this means, and on behalf of the committee, we'll plead with the banks to get out there, speak to the small-scale miners and provide these services for them.
He maintained the time for lifting of the ban on small-scale mining depends solely on the miners.
Lifting of the ban, I believe the power lies with them now to actually collaborate with us so that we do the right thing and submit a proper report to the president. Then he can be in a position to announce the lifting of the ban.
The Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining is scheduled to complete the vetting process on Friday, December 7. This is part of efforts to ensure responsible, environmentally friendly and sustainable mining to sanitize the sector.
Away from the mining sector, fishing at Agokezi in the Ko-Afram Plains North Districts of the Eastern Region came to a standstill following shortage of premixed fuel. Stanley Niblo reports fishermen queued for days without being served.
The Agokezi Premix Fuel Station is one of 3 stations in the 2 Ko-Afram Plains districts. Fishermen have come from more than 20 island communities in search for the commodity. An earlier supply by Shell Petroleum has also drawn scores of fishermen from Kpando Toko, Germany and Tapa-Abotoase to Agokezi. Some have already spent 2 nights at the fuel station and have not been served. They have not been to fishing for weeks, and so their frustration is gradually building up.
Premixed fuel is high in demand here in Agokezi. On a normal fishing day like today, these canoes are supposed to be at work, but their owners have abandoned them, queuing for premixed fuel.
The high demand for the commodity is believed to have been mostly caused by artificial means. The fishermen asserted the suppliers connived with the middlemen called Magbo to hoard the fuel and later sell to them at exorbitant prices. This, they say, has been the practice for years. A gallon of premixed fuel, for instance, sells at 7 cedis 50 pesos by the suppliers, but the middlemen buy and sell to the fishermen at 15 cedis per gallon, a 100% increment.
We cannot go hungry with our families, so we rely on the expensive fuel. In instances where we don't have money, we buy petrol and mix with other fuel before we are able to go for fishing.
There are some people in our communities which, if the petrol comes, they are not fishermen, but they bought it and put it in their rooms and sell with double prices. Mostly those people, some of them are farmers and seamstress in the market.
28-year-old Buti Benjamin is worried the scarcity of the commodity is impacting negatively on their fishing activities.
The truck that you need to go and take in 3 days or 4 days, you use 1 week because of not having a petrol. And the price is far, you can't pardon and go there. So you need to get some of the oil before going. So the net will keep long and the fish will spoil. And then you lost your money.
But the zonal operations officer for the 2 Afram Plains districts debunked the claims by the fishermen and rather attributed the scarcity of the commodity to low supply by the Tama Oil Refinery.
They promised to provide a premise for every week 2 tankers for every district. They start up, but up to some time, there's a lot of challenges in the tour or the secretariat. That means it will take about 3 weeks or 1 month before we receive everything. It's not coming frequently as they promised. So that.
At Dambai in the Karachi East District, the situation is no different. Here, canoes working as water taxis do not regularly work because supply of fuel is also not regular. Petrol remains an alternative, but not all canoe owners can afford.
The
shortage of the premix fuel really affects us. We travel long distance to go and buy the fuel. When we are not lucky, we come back with empty gallons.
Traders have not been able to transport their goods across the Volta River, and it is impacting on their business.
Let's now go to the Ashanti region, where residents of Oku in the central districts of the Ashanti region are threatening to boycott all political activities in the run-up to the 2020 elections if their roads are not fixed. The predominantly farming settlement has no access road and relies on the Catholic Church partially for essential social amenities. A report by Peter Kwao Adato. This is just one of the many incidents in and around Oku, a major farming community in the Ashanti region. The deplorable state of the road linking the area to Ejura has limited the means of transporting foodstuff to market centers to the use of tractors. Many trek owing to the poor state of roads or at best use motorbikes. It was a Tuesday afternoon. TV3's Peter Adato was about leaving the community after a 2-day study tour. He hopped onto a motorbike upon sighting these two tractors returning with sackloads of grains. The intention was to get to the River Oku to observe the maneuvers in the dangerous stream, but that was not to be. A sudden loud sound changed the narrative. The metal joining the trailer of one of the tractors broke in an attempt to maneuver the badly damaged portion of the road right here in the middle of Oku, throwing off both the cargo and the loading boys on it. And residents who rushed to the scene would rather engage in heated argument instead of helping to salvage the goods. Others were outraged with anger over the abject neglect of the road.
As if we are not part of Ghana. It is only election period that will become relevant. This time, we will not entertain campaign from any politician if our roads and other needs are not addressed.
The victims have to ignore the pains and resume carrying the sacks of grain to safety. The tractor operator, who declined to speak on camera, blamed their predicament on the state of the road. He lost track of the number of craters and streams they had to cross on each journey, but insisted they are unable to abandon the people of Oku, saying that would mean doom for them. On our journey back to Ejura, we encountered yet another scenario. This other tractor had a flat tire and had to rely on a hand pump in a bid to get it inflated after mending it. Residents want urgent attention to save them from preventable deaths and economic losses. And now, President Akufo-Addo has inaugurated a new board of the National Development Planning Commission. The president tasked the board to prioritize the development of a planning policy that will transcend political regimes.
The new board members took the official oath and the oath of secrecy at the swearing-in ceremony at the Jubilee House in Accra. The purpose of the National Development Planning Commission is to advise the President on development, planning, policy and strategy. President Akufo-Addo told the new 43-member board to put aside their political ideologies and differences and to go about their work.
If indeed the work you're to do which is to advise the President on the planning, development of our country, is to be successful, it means that you have to take into account this possibility that different parties with different manifestos, different understandings, different commitments will occupy the executive authority of the state at one stage or another.
President Akufo-Addo tasked the board to exhibit maximum integrity. Planning chairman of the National Development Planning Commission Board, Professor Stephen Adai, said the board will seek to develop and effectively communicate a clear development agenda for the transformation of the country.
I believe that if we have a clear national path agenda, still there will be room. If we have a national long-term perspective plans, there should still be room for individual manifestos. But that will be to tell us what Ghana has agreed to go, how each of the parties will do it better, faster, and more efficiently.
The National Development Planning Commission, NDPC board, is made up of 12 ministers of state, including the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, the Education Minister, Matthew Poku-Prempeh. The board also includes the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Ernest Addison, Government Statistician Samuel Kwabena-Enum, and the Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, Grace Bediako. The National Development Planning Commission was established under Articles 86 and 87 of the 1992 Constitution as part of the executive.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has charged the Public Services Commission to ensure it provides an orderly and efficient public service in the country.
President Akufo-Addo was addressing the newly sworn-in members of the board at the Jubilee House in Accra. President Akufo-Addo reiterated the important role of the Public Service Commission in the governance architecture of Ghana.
It's responsible for seeing to it that we have an orderly public service in which appointments and advance are made on the basis of merit and the integrity of character. And it's your duty, more than anybody else, to make sure that people working in the public service who are appointed to the public service satisfy these criteria and these requirements.
The president acknowledged that the task ahead of the chairperson is not an easy one. He expressed confidence that the experience of the chairperson in the public service space would be able to execute her duties excellently. The president also sworn into office Michael Nanayao Aduhini Edudakun, a member of the Public Service Commission, at the same ceremony. The chairperson of the Public Service Commission, Janet Ampedu-Fofi, pledged the board will do their best and be guided by the laws and the values of the public service.
We promise and we pledge to you and to the officers here present that we'll do our best and be guided by the laws and the values of the public services. We pledge that we're going to uphold the values and ensure that whatever we do will be guided and based on the good practices that we came to meet.
Article 194 of the Fourth Republic Constitution of the 1992 spells out the mandate of the Public Service Commission.
You're still watching NEWSAT10 on TV3, which is also live on DSTV channel 279. We're back with more stories after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. This is NEWSAT10 on TV3. We are also live on DSTV channel 279. The Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, has opened a mini laboratory to fast-track testing of imported food products and drugs through the Tema port. Opening the facility, Chief Executive Officer Delis Miridako said the authority has revised its guidelines for testing to conform with current international standards.
The Food and Drugs Authority says the establishment of a modern lab situated at the port of entry is timely to support personnel to stop the influx of unregistered medicines and food products on the Ghanaian market. The lab is equipped with first-class equipment for drugs and food product testing within 48 hours. Technical officers will do random testing of sample-regulated products to ascertain their quality and safety before depart from the port.
Normally, before then, we'd take samples and send it to Accra. We have a main lab in Accra. But now we don't want to do that. We want to ensure that the Vice President's paperless system and for efficient trade, we can quickly do the analysis here. If we need to send samples further to Accra, we'll then detain the products and send samples for testing. But mainly, most of the analysis can be done here. About 99% can be done here.
Deputy Minister of Health, Tina Mensah, urged the Food and Drugs Authority to make maximum use of the facility.
We wish to caution the FDA that laboratory should not be a white elephant. The FDA must make sure that the laboratory serves its purpose. I also, on behalf of the government, wish to indicate government's commitment to support the FDA in whatever way possible to ensure that the laboratory is adequately resourced.
And TV3's Ghana's Most Beautiful has been adjudged the Outstanding Women Pageant of the Year, the maiden edition of the Outstanding Women's Award. Media Generals Wendy Lai also picked up the Outstanding Woman TV host for the night. The award seeks to celebrate women who have made significant contribution to their community through exceptional leadership and sustained dedication to humanity. The all-female group Lipstick Band treated audience to some live band music. In all, 25 awards, including honorary awards, were given out to some deserving individuals and corporate organizations in Ghana. TV3's Ghana's Most Beautiful picked up the Outstanding Woman Pageant Award. 2015 Ghana's Most Beautiful Queen, Abigail Basiara Benti, also walked away with Outstanding Woman Beauty Queen.
The winner is Wendy Lai.
TV3's Wendy Lai was adjudged Outstanding Woman TV host.
I'm honored. It's overwhelming, and long and short, it's an honor.
There's been so many award events out there, but beauty queens have never been recognized. So when I heard that we were about to be celebrated and honored, I was glad. Fortunately, I was nominated, and glory be to God, we have won it.
We are pleased and will continue to do our best. I think Ghana's Most Beautiful has come to stay and will continue to change the life of the young ladies.
And we say congratulations to all the award winners, and may more awards coming. That's how we end tonight's edition of NEWSAT10 on TV3, which was also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwa. Good night.